Hey guys, it's Steven here, and today I'm back with another movie review, and today I am going to be reviewing King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. So King Arthur, Legend of the Sword is directed by Guy Ritchie, and is the latest telling of the story of King Arthur. In this film, we see Arthur, who is played in this film by Charlie Hunnam, see his whole kingdom being overthrown by the evil king Volgren, who is played by Jude Law. And now, as he's older and he's, been trained on how to fight and whatnot, and he's pulled the sword out of Excalibur, out of the stone, he now wants to set out to find Jude Law so he can defeat him and claim his rightful role as king. So, guys, let's get into it. Let's first start off with the acting. I think easily the best performance in the whole movie would be Charlie Hunnam as King Arthur. He kills it in this movie. I think he he's charismatic, he's likable, he's good in the action scenes, he looks the part. And I've never, I'm not the biggest fan of Charlie Hunnam, but he's, I think he's a good actor, but he's really good in this movie. He really is. And as for the other supporting characters, Jude Law, as I said in this movie, is in this movie. And he plays the villain of the movie. And when I saw the trailers, I was a bit scared that he would be like this really big, over the top, cartoonish villain. And in this movie, he kind of is. I mean, he's fine for the most part. He's a serviceable villain. It's just he's not really that menacing, and there's not really anything to his character. And I mean, I think Jude Law is a really good. I think he's a great actor. But it's just there's nothing really that interesting or exciting about his character, and so I'd say that Jude Law was, as I said, he's serviceable as the villain. And there's some other supporting characters in this movie. You have Jimon Hanso, who pops up in a few scenes here or there. I'd say he was pretty good for the most part. And then you also have some other guys in this movie. I don't know, they never really say the names of, the characters in this movie who help out King Arthur. Or in this case, in this film, he's just known as Arthur. There's not really much depth to many of the characters in this movie, and so they're kind of disposable, all of them except for, King Arthur, Charlie Hunnam. So overall, I'd say the acting is, I'd say it's good for the most part. Next, let's move on to the directing. Now, as I said, Guy Ritchie directed this movie. He also did Sherlock Holmes 1 and 2. He also directed Snatch, and he also is known recently for directing The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which came out in 2015. And I'd say there's definitely, it's got that Guy Ritchie stamp on it, with the way that he cuts scenes back and forth, and the dialogue between the characters. Especially there's one or two scenes that I thought was that it just had that Guy Ritchie feel to it. It's where you have these characters telling a story, and they're going back and forth, and the one guy's telling wait, go back to what you were just saying before. It was really clever writing, which I'll get more to that once I get to the script and story. But I'd say my biggest flaw with Guy Ritchie's directing is the way he helmed some of the action scenes. There's a large abundance of quick cuts and zooms, and it doesn't really work. And it was it was kind of hard to follow in a few scenes. There's a few scenes there's a few action scenes in this movie that were actually fairly well done. Um, but then there are a lot of scenes that just aren't, like and it was kind of hard to watch. Not because it's violent or anything, but it's just because of the way it's filmed. But overall, I'd say Guy Ritchie's directing works for the most part. Next, let's move on to the script and the story. Now, I think one of the big problems with the movie is the story gets a little bit jumbled and a little bit messy once you get to the third act. And it's now the script isn't that bad. I'd say it works for the most part. As I said, the dialogue the between the characters was great. It was great. You know, it was very cleverly written. It was, you know, funny, and I was laughing in a few points during this movie. And so like the script, the dialogue itself isn't that bad at all. It's just I think the story could definitely be improved upon. Um, so next, let's move on to the technical qualities. Now the movie, it's fairly well shot, some good set design, and the special effects for the most part, I think they look good. Um, but it felt like there's scenes where it worked, and there are scenes where it just felt like, you know, it felt like a, you know, like a PlayStation 3 cutscene at points. You know what I mean? It looked like a video game. It didn't look like a film. Um, and then one of my biggest problems with the movie is probably I think, yeah, this is, I think, the biggest problem with the movie, and that's the editing. Like, especially like there's a scene in the beginning when they show Arthur as a kid growing up and learning how to fight and whatnot. And it's like, I thought that scene was really badly cut. I don't know what the filmmakers were going for. It's like, that scene really did not work at all. And then there's a couple other scenes like that that I think didn't work. So, overall, while King Arthur, The Legend of the Sword, there are some cool moments in the movie, some cool action. I like Charlie Hunnam in the movie. There's some good set design, but overall, I think that the biggest problem with the movie is some of the editing and the story gets a little bit jumbled at points. But I do also want to comment or compliment the score by Daniel Pemberton. It was great. It was a really good score, and it fit the tone of the movie. So as far as my grade goes for the movie, I'm going to give King Arthur: Legend of the Sword a grade of a B minus. I'd say maybe wait till Red Box to watch this movie. Um, guys, let me know down in the comment section below, what is your favorite Guy Ritchie film? So thanks as always for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.